Hello everyone and welcome to the Hairy Goats. I'm of course Ryan.
And I'm Jacob.
And welcome back to another Raft video content on our channel. Apologies for being absent for the last couple of months. We've been busy with our own lives, but we are back and raring to continue. A subscriber of ours asked us a question with regards to reading out all the notes from the journal. So we're going to take this into two parts, starting off with the first chapter, and then we'll continue with the second chapter. So first off, we're starting off by saying the main story was introduced to Raft on December the 3rd, 2019, when the first chapter was added to the game. This video will attempt to explain the progress of the storyline, as well as all the notes and pictures found underway. The story can be started by crafting and installing a receiver and 3 antennas onto the raft. 4 digital codes found around the world of the raft can be entered into the receiver and the storyline can be started. All such codes are randomized from player to player. So the first chapter consists of the radio tower, Vasagatan and Baiboa Island. We must point out here that in the description and in the right hand corner, once we're going through the journal, there'll be a link to our current video of the story and guide to finding all the notes and resources on this section. So, radio tower.
Alrighty, so let's click on the first one, so it's nice and big.
The first chapter, radio tower. The first available codes will lead the players to the first destination of the journey, the radio tower. In and around the tower, you'll find various hints in forms of notes and transcripts about the survivors previously stationed at the tower. In the topmost room of the radio tower, there are more clues about an island which is assumed to have housed and gathered scouts. The island is later discovered to be Baiboa Island. The location of the island is unknown, but instead of the code to an abandoned cruise ship named Vasagatan is provided. Apart from the notes concerning the engineer's story, a number of useful materials can be found in and around the tower. This video is linked in the description and in the top right hand corner, provided by ourselves for you to find these notes and useful information. There are 4 story related notes found on radio tower platforms. 3 of these are diary entries, whilst the last is a transcript of received radio communications. Story of the radio tower. The diary entries talk of a team of 4 engineers who are tasked with maintaining a number of nuclear reactors, which will in turn help save the world. However, things have not gone well as the multiple parts of the reactors are failing. The engineers have received all nicknames as a result of a leak that has outed their actual names to the world that exists at the time of writing.
Alright, so we're going to go through these notes now. The very first one. So, December 12th. 2 months we have been working on these reactors. 2 months working to save the world. And with no one to tell our story to. Our names aren't important. They gave us all nicknames after that foreman leaked out everything about the North Pole testing project. As if that made a difference. Hell, as if any of us would make a difference at this point. Sparrow had been wary since the initial pitch, especially over the details that has been glossed over. Apparently the prototype is nowhere near stable. There was no mention of what happened to the Chinese team that came before us. Ren was supposed to be one of them, but he's not let anything show. Ariel mumbled something about the emergency cooling system looking shoddy, which wasn't the half of it, but I knew better than to rattle on about it. I mean, they gave us someplace to try to work on, God knows. Those are in short supply. Right, move on to the next one in January. I wish I knew where we were. I bet some place we could point to, except that radio tower out in the distance. 12, 60 and 8 failed today after 3 days of testing. 16's core burned so hard and fast it ate right through the wet well. Its payload sank right into the ocean, hot enough to burn for 100 years. Sparrow checked radiation levels. What's being let out with every test? They said they're going to use those in shelters. We can fix it, she said. And the craziest part is, we agreed. Us 4 overworked, exhausted pencil necks. We would save the world. What would be left of it anyway? February. Turns out Ren blew the whistle on us, and it made the people in charge mad. They must have known we were stalling, working on 12 and 24. Those things let out so much radiation they burned green, for God's sake. Except they took them away. Sure, Owl and I put up a fight, but they just shoved us around. This bunch of jocks. Took Sparrow and Reactor 8 with them too. After all, Ren knew she was the only one of the smarts to keep them working. They left us behind on the reactor testing platform, then blew the foundations. The water's been rising slowly. Owl thinks we should go after them. I wish I didn't agree with him. And then on to the final messages. So we haven't got a date on this one, unfortunately, so that's a bit of a... If you can understand what you are reading, this isn't the end. We gunned the engines as hard and as fast as we could, but I think it burnt out. We barely made it to the radio tower. Owl said the boat's useless, but I can fix it. They're probably way ahead of us, but I think they're headed for Selene. I just want to leave this someplace anyone might find it. We didn't cause this, but we damn well helped it along, and by God, we're going to try and fix this. We're going to get there, and we're going to shut down 12 and 24, and we're going to get Scarrow back. And then maybe I'll ask her out, and she won't look at me like I'm crazy this time. Owl found my notepad, but I got it back. I need to hide it better next time. This marker makes it really hard to erase stuff, but we'll get it back. We have to. Signed, Cuckoo. Right, so that's the end of the radio's notes. The next one is Vasagatan, sorry.
We're now going to move on to Vasagatan, which is the second place in Chapter 2. Chapter 1. Vasagatan is a deserted cruise ship beach on a small island. It introduces a new enemy to the player, the Lurker, which is a large rodent that leaps at players within range. Vasagatan holds an entire different story than the one started at Radio Tower. The main character of the Vasagatan story is Olof Winkelstrom, who has gathered a Swedish crew and covertly departed from Södertälje, Sweden, a city within Stockholm country. According to one of the transcripts found, Wilkenström has abandoned his office and is fleeing Stockholm. It is unclear why the text hints at the fact that rising water levels is about to affect Stockholm, and Wilkenström has some responsibility in providing a solution. However, Wilkenström realizes that no way to help everyone and decides to abandon the city together with a paid crew.
Right, so we're going to go on to the notes. Let's look at the first note, shall we? So there's no date, so we can't read that out. I don't know where we are or if this stopper will hold. We tried to plug the hole, but the water just keeps rising. The propeller's making a weird noise, and I think Matty's flooded the engine. Signy has been burning through the signal flares, and Philip has been blasting music as loud as he can. I don't think any of us know what they are doing. I'll throw this on the side first thing tonight. Maybe the current will take it. Whoever you are, please find us. I drew a map. Hope it helps. Selene. Right, this next one, just so it's clear, is a conversation over the radio, just in case seems a bit strange. You know what's the worst thing? That Weasel's probably going to survive this. Gents, we're almost out of food. Half the crew's taken off on the lifeboat. This piece of garbage is sinking and we're still going on about the rats? Ain't natural, you know. That thing ate half a box of rat poison and still crawled up the ducts into the cockpit. Poison could have been off. What about when Olaf shot at it? Saw that bullet hit it so hard it did a flip. Maybe it was faking. Then what about the time Carl drowned in a bucket? Smart guy? Different rat. There's another rat? Right, just to say it again, this is also over the radio. Supply log day. God, who gives a damn? Meat's mostly gone, we're down to veggies. We can probably stretch them out for another month, as long as our host agrees to ration more. Weird that Olaf's kept his belly. Must be the last fat one on Earth. What the hell are you doing, gents? Looking for your damn rat? Stay the hell away from my gas tanks, you hear? I'm going, don't get your panties in a knot, yeah? I ain't even touched your girlfriend's stash. I'm gonna break you against my knees, what I'm gonna do. Unless you get the hell out. Gonna have to up security around here. Right, this is a normal note again. This is someone writing this all down in the law. So this should make more sense, hopefully. Casper, the ventilation system is busted and the backup generator for the fridge just gave up the ghost. Wires have mostly been gutted, so you're going to have to move fast before we're just down to tins. Looks like we've got a rat infestation on our hands, but for God's sake, don't tell Jens. Signed, Oscar. P.S. Also, we know about the stash you keep for Karen. Maybe we'll have to bust it out before we have to. It'd be the right thing to do. Is this on? It better be on. I've tried to do this 3 times already. Captain? Again? I'm sorry, but let's face it. That fever of yours isn't looking like it's coming down. You were right, we went out into this blind. With nothing but a half-assed larder and no doctor. I don't think it's any way for us to pull through. Olaf? I think he knows it too. Been throwing his weight around, fiddling with your gun from the safe. One of you knows we took the bullets. I'm watching everyone come apart at the seams, forced to make do with Casper's gruel, and they know how much we needed you. I'm not much for words, but... There you are, you squeaky little rodent. Come here, you little So this bit here is a rip out from a newspaper, I believe. So let's get into it. Cities in the blue. Calling the cost of the project's realization borderline criminal and its scope outrageous at least. Despite very vocal opposition, the floating city project does not appear to be slowing down anytime soon. According to Ombudsman Olaf Wilkstrom's latest statement on the issue, we are fully aware of the gravity of the situation and the strain this puts on the people in these trying times. Nevertheless, with the reformation projects abandoned, our options are becoming increasingly limited. We must now either all pull through this project or join Stockholm beneath the waves. Pushing further regarding the satellite photos of another floating city found near the Indian Ocean, Mr. Wilkstrom chose to terminate the interview. When later reaching out to a source that is chosen to remain anonymous, we were able to collaborate. All these lines are done by dates, but I'm not going to be reading out the number because we don't actually know the months or any sort of helpful information on that part. So I'm just going to read all the text. I'm not going to bother reading the numbers, just so we're all clear on this one. Left Södertälje under cover of night. One of the men, Jens, had already busted the Cassian before the Port Authority caught on. Sailing has been smooth so far. Had the crew run a check on our supplies. Turns out Olaf did more than just half-ass it. We need to reach shore and restock. Crews were getting too chummy with Olaf's girls, and the big man's none too happy about it. Asked me to intervene, as if it's my damn job. Should reach the shore soon. No sign of dry land yet. Water levels must have risen much higher than expected. No response on the radio. Casper told me the fruit looks like they're going and the meat tins aren't looking too good either. Olaf got into a fight with one of the men, Hanny. Apparently caught him trying to hoard supplies from the woman. Sailors still gave him a thrashing. We need to make it to land soon, stretch our legs, get this whole mess of a crew back in order. Travelog again. Hanny came to me in the middle of the night. Spent some time here. She knew exactly what to say to get me on her side, just like a sailor's wife would. Didn't like it when I pressed on about it. The woman knew Olaf's losing control of the men and the ship fast. Olaf couldn't spare a damn tetanus booster, god damn him to hell. Casper, you and your bastard nose. If I make it through this, I will turn you into shark food, swear to God. Can't keep the food down. Water hurts going in. Casper's been making deals. Even in the brig. Lockjaw hit me when I was taking the men down. Before I decided to let Olaf overboard, no way for a man to go. Fever's been climbing steadily up. Feeling like I'm burning. The ship is drifting, I know that much. No one on it can steer it. When I close my eyes, I'm dreaming I'm back at Stockholm with Per. We swim through the streets like fish, darting in and out of broken storefronts. It's getting cold, dark, fever's coming down. Where's Hanny? This is another radio log, so I'll do my best to try to make this sound right. There are dry places still. Shut up, Matty, that's not helping anyone. Damn it, how do you turn this thing off? You shut up, I've seen them. They were plans, man. Just plans? Mock-ups? Nothing. How do you even run into a dry place here, man? The world's drowned, for God's sake. Not here. Here. Further down south. Place where there's still land, under the ice. Antarctica, all that. They made those places before the end to stash themselves away while the poor people drowned. Man, you're just full of crap. No, man, I'm telling you, there was this guy, looked Chinese. Had him drifting out in the middle of nowhere. He looked like he'd been lost at sea for weeks, barely managing to string 2 words together before he gave up the ghost. Said there were 3 places still, down south, powered by fusion reactors. We can go there, man. Steer this thing down south. Hey, Is that rock getting closer or... No, 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 no! Right, let's move on to the next note, shall we? Reuben, I was bitter when I left you, and desperate. I thought the world was come to an end, and you never said it. But you thought so too. Maybe you were looking forward to it even. Perhaps that is why you stayed so strong. But you never told me that. You never told me a secret, and I would just see you disappearing further into yourself as the world sank. I saw that world ending with you, Reuben, and that was too much to bear. I'm sorry I ran. I know that now. Wilkstrom didn't have a clue. None of these poor footballs do. After the captain went, they just drifted. Aimless. Caught some passing ship, stole their food. It took them 2 weeks before they ran out and turned on each other. We were stuck against a mountain top in the middle of the big endless blue. Just a handful of us. We were hungry and scared, but we can stay here. We will head out. Go as far south as we will go. Matty says there are dry places down there. Find me if you can. You won't believe it, but I love you. Hanny. So this is the very last note you get from Vasagatan, aka the yacht. I'm not even going to read this because I don't even know what any of that means. But that's the last note. So we're going to move on now to Baiboa Island. This will be the last part we're going to read for this video. There's too much. We're going to break this into chapter 1 and chapter 2.
Baiboa Island. The final location of the first chapter is Baiboa Island, an evergreen island inhabited by bears. Among these bears live a boss-level bear, fittingly named Mother Bear, dealing half the player's health in damage and having a life pool the size of roughly 5 sharks. She is the toughest enemy the player has faced so far. It's recommended to bring several metal spears of plenty of arrows because the number of bears faced are too many to be handled with a single weapon. The island has several entry points, all of which lead to a dirt path with direction signals. Around the island, the players may find a couple of new materials. The main story objectives consist of activating 3 antennas atop the island's 3 relay stations. After activation, the next code for the receiver is revealed on screen, leading to Caravan Island, making the start of Chapter 2. Baiboa Island, previously a mountain top, holds 3 radio towers and a ranger station. Because it's now ideal location, key function is radio communication. Engineers were sent to the location to maintain the tower and ensure they remain functional. The documented events that have taken place at Baiboa take place between December the 7th and February the 6th. An engineering couple, Alberti and Bruno Cossier, are tasked with managing the radio station. In the period, a series of entries written on regular note paper tell the story of 2 engineers. The first entry, written by Alberta, describes how she felt focused to leave the island, and Bruno's in order to find someone out to sea. It can be deduced that Bruno and Alberti have received a distress signal that Alberti act upon. She chose to do this without Bruno's acceptance, for which she apologises in the notes.
Right, so going through the first note, you're going to see here, it's just a schedule. I'm not going to read any of that out. That's not too important. So, first entry. Lefty's auxiliary boat. I'm sorry, Bruno. They're all alone out there. Signed, Alberti. Second entry. Alberti, I managed to contact someone today. Must have been Navy, but they sounded foreign. Asked them about you, but they didn't seem like they were receiving. Since no 6 went underwater, left no message, just in case. It can't be so bad. This is Bruno, signing off. Alberti, I found your wrench out by the clearing. Did you leave it there? Is this some kind of game? I know it's been rough on you, being stuck here, but I think you're being cruel. Please, if you're here, I just want to talk. Father made his mind up a long time ago. He's going after one, and I'm going with him. H. So in the next note, you can see on the top right here, it's days, and he's got a tally. just a bit of information in case you might have missed it. No 3 is gone, but I'm fine. I'm not angry. Alberti, you keep saying I'm angry. I'm not angry, just tired. You can keep hiding from me, Alberti, but I know you're here someplace. The water will drive you out. Henry says I shouldn't say that, and it makes me feel bad, but you left me here, and I'm sorry, but it's just the way things are. 5th entry. How did Vonga put it? Something about not enough people. You keep telling me I need to go, Alberti, but you're just not enough. People? AI? Don't even know if you're anyone else. You remember how the guys used to pull our legs back at Central? One guy, 2 paychecks. But maybe they were onto something, Alberti. 6th entry. Miranda made a scene the other day. She said Henry is getting too clingy. Errol likes to push her buttons, but I don't know how she can get. She hasn't done anything, but Jesus, that woman scares me. Bobby says we should have a talk with her about it, but he won't do it. So what the hell good is he? Alberti, I found your harness, but it's in bad shape. I worry about you. 7th entry. Errol's gone. Miranda likes to act like nothing happened, but we know better. We all know better. Except Bobby's gone awful quiet too. Henry won't talk about it, but I can tell he's worried. The triplet thinks I'm too quick to point fingers, but he'll turn up. But they don't know Errol. He's helpless without anyone holding his hand. My hair's getting thinner. Sometimes I mumble back what I just said, just to hear me saying it. Henry's right. I am turning into my father. 8th entry. Alberti, I don't think anyone's coming. I think Errol's gone for good too. Henry says I ought to make a choice. The others, they won't make it here. It would be cruel to leave them. Now that Bobby's useless, they don't know this place. They were just born on it. I'll leave as soon as they're all gone. Henry keeps saying I'm doing the right thing, but the water's getting hot. And the generator's gone, and my father called me the other day, asked when I'm coming home, but he's been gone for years. And I don't know if I'm not just desperate. 9th entry. Henry and I took the auxiliary boat. I'm sorry, Alberti. I'm all alone out here, Bruno. Right, these next notes are in bits, so I'll do my best to not sound like I'm dying inside. It's done. We're through. B. Father has a new favourite. We can't have that. N-D-L. I think that's the initials of the triplets, just so we're clear. Father has to make a decision. I know it won't be me. I have done enough. B. So the next note's a map. I don't need to read this. You can just see it. It literally marks the antennas on the map. Yeah, I mean, it's quite handy to know, I suppose. The guilty lay restless. We must be punished if we are to rest. B. I think that's all we're going to do for this video, isn't it?
Yeah, correct. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and join for part 2 for chapter 2.